Welcome to SP News and Knowledge. Today we are going to discuss his first flight. So, without any delay, let's start our journey. Have you ever been so afraid that you couldn't move? Picture, if you will, a young seagull perched precariously on the edge of a cliff. His heart pounds like a drum in his chest as he gazes down at the vast expanse of water below, his wings trembling at his sides. He's not just any seagull, he's the one who can't fly. Now, imagine his younger siblings, their wings shorter, but their courage far greater. They take to the sky as if born to it, swooping and soaring with a fearlessness that's both inspiring and heartrending. It's not that our young seagull doesn't want to fly. Oh no. He yearns to feel the wind beneath his wings, to join his family in the boundless azure above. But fear, that cruel and relentless captor, keeps him grounded. His parents, wise and patient, try to coax him from the ledge with shrill calls and promises of freedom. "Trust your wings," they seem to say, their eyes shimmering with hope and concern. But words, no matter how well-intended, cannot quell the fear that grips his heart. Day in, day out, he watches his family from his lonely perch, their joyous cries echoing in his ears, a brutal reminder of his own failure. He's not just a seagull who can't fly, he's a seagull who's afraid to try. One day, the family ventures to a distant plateau, leaving him behind on his solitary cliff. The pangs of hunger gnaw at his belly, and he cries out to his mother for food. She swoops down, a morsel of fish clutched in her beak, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. His hunger overrides his fear, and he lunges at the fish, tumbling headfirst into the abyss. His wings flail, then catch the air, slicing through it like blades. And just like that, he's flying, soaring alongside his siblings, his fear left behind on the cliff's edge. All hope seemed lost, until one day, driven by hunger and desperation, the young seagull made a leap of faith. Fear had been his constant companion, a shadow that loomed large over his dreams of flight. But on this day, hunger was a more formidable foe. It gnawed at his belly, a relentless reminder of his refusal to fly. His siblings, with their shorter wings, soared and dived with ease, their joyous calls a stark contrast to his silent suffering. On the opposite cliff, his family converged on a big plateau, their wings glistening in the sun as they dove into the sea to catch fish. The young seagull watched from his solitary perch, his heart aching with hunger and longing. He called out to his mother, his voice a plaintive cry echoing across the vast expanse. His mother, hearing his plea, picked up a piece of fish and flew towards him. As she approached, the fish in her beak glistened tantalizingly. The aroma wafted towards him, driving his senses into a frenzy. His eyes, once filled with fear, now blazed with determination. With a loud shout, he jumped, not towards safety, but towards the unknown. He fell outward and downward, his heart pounding in his chest. But then, something miraculous happened. His wings, once a source of fear and doubt, unfurled and caught the wind. He felt them cut through the air, their strength and power surprising him. His fall turned into a glide, and for the first time, he was flying. His fear was replaced with exhilaration, his doubt with confidence. He soared higher and higher, joining his family in the sky, his wings carrying him towards freedom and joy. The young seagull had discovered his wings, but what about when we willingly step into danger? Sometimes it's not about discovering our wings, but about understanding the risks we take. The next tale takes us to the sky once more, but this time it's not about a seagull learning to fly. It's about a pilot, a storm, and a decision that could cost him everything. Would you risk everything for a dream? This is a question that our pilot, soaring high above Paris, had to grapple with. He was not just any pilot. He was a dreamer. His heart was set on a joyous holiday with his family, a tantalizing thought that made him overlook the looming danger ahead. A blanket of dark clouds began to unfurl, an ominous warning of the storm that lay in wait. A wise decision would have been to turn back, to retreat to the safety of Paris. But the pilot, consumed by the allure of his dream, chose to ignore the warning signs. He steered his plane into the storm, a reckless decision that put the lives of his passengers in peril. As they ventured deeper into the storm, the world outside turned pitch black. The plane's instruments, their only source of guidance, went silent. The once confident pilot was now a captive of his own decision, his heart pounding with fear. The plane was now at the mercy of the storm, tossed around like a leaf in a tempest. Panic set in as the reality of the situation dawned upon him. The fuel gauge dipped dangerously low. Each passing second brought them closer to a disastrous end. But then, amidst the chaos, the unexpected happened. Another plane appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. It was a beacon in the dark, a glimmer of hope in the face of despair. Our pilot, driven by a desperate desire to survive, decided to follow this strange aeroplane. With bated breath, he steered his plane north, following the mysterious guide through the storm. The fuel was running out, and the fear of the inevitable was creeping back in. In the midst of darkness and despair, an unexpected savior appeared. Just when all seemed lost, the pilot found hope in the most unlikely of places. But who was this anonymous pilot guiding them through the storm? And where did he come from? These were questions that would haunt our pilot, questions that would remain unanswered. But for now, they had a fighting chance, a glimmer of hope in the face of imminent danger. When all hope seems lost, help can come from the most unexpected places. As the tempest raged on, the pilot's heart pounded with fear and desperation. His plane lost amidst the storm's fury. But then, like a beacon in the night, another plane appeared, cutting through the storm with an uncanny grace. This mysterious aircraft seemed impervious to the storm's wrath, its path steady and sure. The pilot, caught between desperation and disbelief, decided to follow the strange aeroplane. As he aligned his course with the unknown guide, the sense of doom that had gripped him began to ease. With each passing moment, the storm seemed less formidable, less terrifying. The mysterious plane led them onwards, a guiding light amidst the darkness. The pilot's heart, once heavy with dread, now fluttered with a glimmer of hope. Could they possibly survive this? The fuel gauge dipped lower, threatening to plunge the plane back into despair. But the guiding plane remained steadfast, leading them on a course that seemed to skirt the worst of the storm. With each passing minute, the storm's fury lessened, replaced by a growing sense of relief. Finally, the storm's grip loosened, revealing clear skies and the welcoming lights of the runway. As the plane touched down, the pilot breathed a sigh of relief. They had made it. Against all odds, they had survived. But the mystery remained. Who was the pilot of the other plane who had guided them to safety? Eager to express his gratitude, the pilot asked the ground staff about the other plane. Their response sent chills down his spine. There was no other plane in the sky that night. The guiding plane, their savior amidst the storm, had never existed. The storm had passed, but the lessons remained. The pilot was left to ponder the miraculous rescue, a reminder of the unexpected places from which help can come and the dangers of risking others' lives for personal desires. The sky may be a place of wonder and beauty, but it also holds lessons that can change the course of a life forever. 2 stories, 2 flights, but what can we learn from these tales? Our first tale begins with a young seagull, fearful and hesitant, refusing to trust the strength of its own wings. It's a tale of self-doubt, of fear that paralyzes and keeps us grounded, even when all we long for is to take to the skies. But in the midst of hunger and desperation, this young seagull finds courage and takes that leap of faith. That's when he discovers his ability to fly, to soar, to embrace the freedom that lies beyond the ledge. This story, simple as it may seem, is a powerful reminder of the strength that lies within us. Often, we are our own worst enemy, our fears and doubts keeping us from reaching our full potential. But sometimes, all it takes is one courageous leap, one moment of sheer determination, to realize that we are capable of far more than we ever imagined. Moving on to our second tale, we have a pilot, blinded by his dreams and ambitions, willing to risk everything, including the lives of his passengers, to reach his destination. As he plunges headfirst into a storm, he finds himself in a terrifying situation with no control, no guidance, and rapidly depleting fuel. But in his darkest hour, a mysterious savior appears, guiding him safely through the storm. This story serves as a stark warning of the consequences of recklessness and the importance of taking responsibility for our actions. It teaches us that our dreams and ambitions should never come at the cost of others' lives. It also reminds us that help can come from the most unexpected places, and that even in our most desperate moments, we are never truly alone. So, what do these tales tell us? They tell us that courage can overcome fear, that inner strength can conquer self-doubt, and that recklessness can lead to dire consequences. But most importantly, they remind us of the value of life and the responsibility we hold towards others. Remember, the sky may be vast and intimidating, but it's also full of possibilities. So what will your flight teach you?